So the reason that I'm calling Lamont Carey to the stage is because he has picked up the banner of making his life call to assisting, managing, helping, directing returning citizens. I'm not going to tell you nothing about his life. That's his business. I can tell you what he's doing now. And so, Lamont, the floor is yours. Return. What do they call this now? This is what month?
Second Chance Month.
That's what they. Now, are you all familiar with Second Chance Month? How many chances have y'all had? When the debt collector said that I'm not giving you no credit, and then you go back and say, please, baby, please, or your girlfriend say, no, I'm not gonna marry you. I'm leaving you, and they say, oh, baby, don't leave me. Please come back. Everybody give them a second chance. Well, that's what Lamont does. He gives people a second chance. I know. He gives people a second chance. So anyway, I'm just honored and blessed to have you to come up here and share some words with us as our guest speaker as we celebrate Second Chance Month.
Happy birthday. Thank y'all for always extending this opportunity. Before I even mention, talk anything about my agency, I want to say, young people, welcome. I'm glad to have this opportunity to speak before you. Hopefully I talk to you and not at you. And I want to send you all greetings on behalf of my boss, Mayor Miro Bowser, and my amazing part of my amazing team over there with the green shirts on. So I heard this morning a lot about community and following your dreams. But I just remember being a young guy that had traumatic experiences from witnessing my father beat up my mother, right? And she used to drink, and he used to use heroin, rob banks, things of this nature. And so sometimes when I hear community, I have to adjust my thinking because it takes me to a space sometime. And I know some of the young folks that's in here probably be familiar with communities that are not always encouraging, or not encouraging in a way that may be the most productive and most positive. Because I remember coming outside playing and learning how to hustle just by playing outside. And I remember there was no real male role models. One of my biggest fears was growing up and being an alcoholic that sits on the side of the liquor store, or being a drug addict that's leaning on the fence, sleeping in the hallway. I ain't want that, right? And it had fueled this anger inside of me based off of all of those things that I've experienced, from father hit my mother and she still welcomed him into her bedroom. And so that was my impression on women, right? All of that was shaping how I recognize community. And let me tell you something, I don't know if any of you are experiencing this, but that made me hate my community. Right? That made me willing to do anything and everything to get out of that community, even if that meant selling drugs to the people in my community. Right? All I knew I wanted to do was get out. What I also knew is that people was telling me about college. But I know the only time that I got money from my mother was on the first when she got her food stamp. So I didn't really believe that college was an option for me. And so the only success that I saw in my community was the drug dealers, right? They had the cars, They had all of those things that symbolize success, and I wasn't even sure what success was, but I knew the alcoholics, the people that was using drugs, and the law-abiding people in my communities, almost like they paid tribute to these guys. So when I'm outside and I'm playing, one say, run to the store for me, go to the store and get me this, and I come back, and he may give me $5 from that change. Now I get like $1 every month from my mother, or maybe $2 every month after she get her check, right? Because that's the age that I am, that with $2 supposed to be satisfied. So now every time I'm coming outside and I'm playing, guess who I'm playing next to? So I can get sent to that store again, right? Then it became, let me know if the police coming. Now I'm watching out, I ain't even know I'm could potentially be a part of a drug conspiracy. Then it became, watch that stash. Let me know if somebody go over there and mess with that stash. And then it became, this is how much this costs. While I'm gone, if somebody come up, you give them this one and you take this much back. Then it became, here go yours, you do you. Then it became, you need to protect yourself, you need a pistol, right? All of this just by playing outside in my community. In my community, where my community is supposed to be loving, embracing, and helping me prepare for the future. But in my mind, I want to get as far away from this community as humanly possible. So I didn't want to be them, so I had no issue with poisoning them. And if I hate them, I have no issue with using those pistols against them, and that led me to prison, being charged as an adult at the age of 16, right? And so I want to bring this back around to some of us that's in here, some of you young folks may not have experienced what I just talked about, but some of the little guys and the little girls that's in your circle, right? Man, why you going to school, man? Come and hang out with us. Let's go play this. Let's go do this. Let's go smoke this. Them puffs, them drinks, that they gonna tell you ain't gonna do nothing to you, is how and them people that's hanging around and sleeping around that liquor store started. Right? Those addicts that's in our community that you like, man, why they won't get themselves together and get off of those drugs, right? That's how that started off, that one encouragement that this ain't gonna hurt you. But let me tell you something else where Ms. Ross was telling you about that situation in the car. Some of y'all may have some buddies that don't have a license, don't own a car, but they keep a car, right? And you jumping in that car with them, knowing that it's stolen because your man got it, he said ain't nothing gonna happen, we just going around the corner. Young people are dying in those cars. Right? They're fixing in their mind that they can outrun the police and run into a tree. Run into this, run into that, right? Or you may be getting in the car with somebody that's older in this day car. Right? But you know they ain't got the job, but they probably got it from the street way. And then you get in that car. And just like her brother did, it ain't mine. The person whose it is saying it ain't mine, and you in the car with them, and you say it ain't mine, they locking up the whole car. And they saying keeping it 100, but they just putting you in then you gotta wreck it. Because we holler that we men, we holler that we women, that we gonna defend ours, but every time a car get pulled over, first word come out the mouth is it ain't mine. So everybody in the car goes down. That is how easy it is for you to catch a record. But let me tell you another thing. Some of us be saying, man, I'm backing my man or my girlfriend regardless of what. If it's on, it's on.
So some of our young people sitting over the jail right now or beginning a life sentence in a penitentiary around this country about rolling with their man or their girlfriend about an issue that they've done brought to them, and it led to the death of somebody else, and they ain't never touched a pistol, they ain't never did nothing, but they were there, and when they ran too. So you were part of that case. That is how easy it is. So some of y'all got some friends that you know, when what they say, go to 0 to 100 real quick. So if you in the vicinity of that person and you can't control that person, when they go to 0 to 100 real quick, that case is your case. 2 million people in prison, right? Some of them ain't done nothing but been in the presence of their dog, of their homegirl, and now they never getting out of prison. Some of them even taking their life. But let me tell you one of the other things that we're learning about. Some of the people that said that ain't mine and it was theirs, getting on a stand to the people in the car that has nothing to do with it and pointing them out saying it was theirs. Right? So when we talking about community, y'all have to choose your community. You have to recognize that you want better than whatever the situation is that you're going through. And some of y'all got some sweet situations, but you still want something better. And ain't nothing wrong with what's something better for your life. And some of y'all are living what we may feel are horror stories. But I'm telling you, there's a whole world out here waiting for your gifts and talents. And even if you don't know what those gifts and talents are, and you don't know what your career, what you want for your career, like my 18-year-old son, we just paid all this money for him to go to school, and he still don't know what he want to do, right? Right? At least figure out how much money you want to make there. If you can figure out how much money you want to make a year, you can Google what career that pays that amount of money and what would it take for you to be able to do that skill that's there that you want to make that kind of money. And let me tell you something, sometimes us grown folks tell us, our young people that have ideas that want to be sports stars and want to be artists, that you'll never be able to do that. You should try to figure out this. LeBron James heard that, right? Michael Jordan heard that. Michael Jackson probably heard that. That it's so many other artists out there, you ain't got a shot. Can't nobody tell you what you got a shot at. You put it, if you want it, you put your all into it. But if whatever it is, I want you to try to learn everything about it. Because all of us may not make it on that field, but we may. But that don't mean we can't end up being the general manager. Right? That don't mean we can't end up being the manager. That don't mean we can't end up being the agent. I have never heard of a broke agent or manager that is never on the stage, that is never on the field. So if you want something, don't allow me, don't allow people that you love to tell you that it is not possible. I told you I went to prison where I got charged at the age of 16 as an adult for violent crimes. Right? Spent 11 years in the penitentiary. But now I run a government agency, so I'm telling you, if you believe in yourself, you can make anything out here happen. And I'm not saying this, I am not saying this for applause. I'm telling you, if you want it, it's waiting for you. If you want it, just use your words and say, this is what I'm going after. Because let me tell you something, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people that have wanted to get in that same lane that you in, that may be a little bit ahead of where you want to go, that can tell you how to get to that next step. And then somebody else can tell you how to get to that next step. So if you want to be a rapper, I'm sure in this room of young people, there's somebody that got a camera that's want to be a music producer. There's somebody here that knows styling, that want to get do your outfits. Right? If you want to be on a football field, I know most of the returning citizens in this room have done push-ups and pull-ups and all of that, right? Can help you get your body right. So that is where I'm saying, if you don't feel that you have a community, you build your community based off of the things that you want to accomplish in your life. And I'm telling you, as long as you don't quit, as long as you don't allow a no to stop you, all it takes is one yes to transform your life. And there's a room full of older people in here, like Andy of Busboys and Poets. I started off as a poet, ended up on several television shows. So I'm telling you, there is no ceiling, there is no floor to what you want to be. All I need you to do is keep them flames of your dreams alive despite what you go through. And let me tell you something.
Do a poem.
No. Let me tell you something. I set myself up. So what I'm going to tell you, people might tell you that young people don't love themselves. Don't let them cover that over you. Right? People might tell you that you ain't good enough, that you ain't smart enough. There's a lot of people in this world that ain't as smart as we may want them to be, but in levels of extreme power that dictate what it is and what we do, how we do it, and all of that. But I'm here to tell you, everything, every goal, every dream that you could ever possibly want can be made possible. I done had so many careers. I done sold socks and pocketbooks that I got from Florida Avenue Market when I first came out. Right? I done sold poems and ended up on HBO, BET, The Wire, all of these different platforms, and I done traveled all over the world for stuff that I thought that suckers do when I was little. I thought poetry was for suckers. But poetry paid my bills, got me to travel around the country, and probably is one of the foundations of how I even got here to be a director of a government agency, right? So the last thing I'm going to tell you is if you have a returning citizen, one of your family members, cousin, parent, best friend just came home from prison and they trying to figure out how to find their way. So the agency that I run is called the Mayor's Office on Returning Citizens Affairs. And it's on Martin Luther King, right across from the big chair in the welfare building. My team, some are in this space right now today. We wake up every day to try to help your loved one to get on that pathway to fulfilling their dreams. And if you would just give us an opportunity by sharing us with your family and friends, we may be able to help you to change their life. But at that same time, I want you to realize and know that you are worthy of the life that you want for yourself. Even if that just means you wake up and there's food in the refrigerator. It is possible. There is nothing that you should ever, no experience that you should ever have that make you consider breaking the law. Nothing. Nothing. Prison is one of the most horrible places that I have ever experienced. And y'all have already heard some of the stories about what goes on in prison. But let me tell you the most heartbreaking part of prison that I've ever experienced. Those homies, those girlfriends that you thought was going to ride or die for you, won't even write you a letter. Won't even come and see you. Won't give a dime to your lawyer. So you're going to experience what being alone is like. A lot of us have never really been alone because we think that somebody is always going to be there. But let me tell you who usually answer their phones and come in that visiting room. Mama that you don't think is doing good. Right? So I'm telling you, love on your mother, love on your family that is loving on you, right? And I'm telling you everything that you believe that you deserve. As long as it's positive, you deserve it. But if it's negative, don't put that on yourself. Because you're better than any doubt that you have in yourself. And sometimes the biggest voice that is telling you to do something wrong or go in a different direction It's going to be that inner voice inside of you. But you got to fight that. You're worthy enough. Some of our kids are now thinking of suicide. Nothing is better than waking up and overcoming the challenges that you face, because you will overcome it. Every adult in this room had to overcome something. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to attempt a poem. I haven't done one in many, many years.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, do the
See, today is my first day back on the streets. And I got a secret to tell, because this was a rude awakening for me. See, all them nights that I sat up on that bunk and dreamed about this day, now reality and hope just don't look the same. And see, every day that I wake up, I'm thinking, what am I going to do next? And so the day comes when it's time for me to come out into this world, and I start hearing, Lamont, come back. You ain't gotta live like that. The streets ain't changed. You still know this game. See, the streets keep calling me by my first name. And the other day when I walk into my parole officer, he's telling me to do A, B, and C, or he gonna guarantee me he gonna take me off the streets. And all I wanna do is say, sir, just help me. But he got his arm crossed and he looking at me with his face frown, and I'm thinking, all I'm asking you is to help me. And the streets started to whisper to me, Lamont, come back. You ain't gotta live like that. The streets ain't changed. You still know this game. See, the streets keep calling me by my first name. See, this morning I got up sitting on the edge of the bed, trying to hold my brain inside my head. See, I'm starting to get weak. So the streets starting to get more visible to me. And then I remember this plan that I created when I was in prison, that I told myself, if I follow it from A to Z, it's going to guarantee me that I'm going to be free. So I said, I'll try this plan again. A got me a job, B got my own spot. See, every time I touch a stage, I make sure that I leave it high. But I just hope tonight, when I lay down to go to sleep, that I'm not too weak, because the streets gonna be whispering to me, Lamont, come back. You ain't gotta live like that. And the sad part about it, y'all, is that the streets may never forget my name. Thank y'all.
Y'all, that was so beautiful. Come on. Y'all gotta excuse me, I am very emotional. Very emotional, because we love you. We want the best for you. The best. Lamont,
That's why we love him. I mean, that's what I call real love, tough love, genuine love from the streets.